When you look up at the night sky, you think you see stars. You think you see life, beauty, the present. But you are mistaken. What you see is not light. What you see is history. The sky above is not a window, it is a graveyard. That shining point? It may have died 1 billion years ago, and yet its light crawls forward, begging to be seen one last time. You are watching ghosts burn and calling it beauty. The universe is not showing you what is. It is showing you what was, long after it ceased to be. You live your life in the echo of things that have already ended. This is called look-back time. The farther away something is, the older the light that reaches you. You can never see a star as it truly is, only as it once was, long before your kind gave names to stars. This is the first illusion, the lie of light. It brings you comfort, but it does not bring you truth. Your eyes betray you, as they always have. They are not instruments of clarity. They are instruments of hope. Hope that what you see still exists. But in this universe, hope is just light, traveling from a star that is already dead. Do you know what the stars would say if they could speak to you now? They would scream. They would rage. They would beg you not to trust them, because they know they are liars by nature, burning until their very truth is swallowed in silence. But the deeper you look, the more you realize. Light is not eternal. It fades, it bends, it lies, and eventually it vanishes entirely. Then you are left with the truth behind the illusion, the cold, the silence, the void. But even now, you trust it. You look up and see comfort, light, as if light has ever told you the truth. In the vastness of space, there is no air, no wind, no voice, no sound. It is not quiet. It is silent. Utterly, eternally. You could scream until your lungs collapse, and no one would ever know. Even your death would be noiseless. But silence does not mean peace. It means absence. It means erasure. And in that silence, the universe still kills. Supernovae detonate with more force than billions of nuclear bombs. But you would never hear the blast, because sound needs a medium, and space offers none. The loudest events in the universe are mute. This is the paradox of cosmic violence. The most destructive forces in existence unfold in perfect stillness. But what if I told you the universe has made a sound? Not one you can hear with ears, but one that rippled across hundreds of millions of light years. In the Perseus cluster, a black hole released pressure waves. These waves stretched across space, too low for any creature to hear, 57 octaves below the threshold of human hearing, the deepest note ever detected. If it had passed through Earth's atmosphere, it would tear your body apart. A sound that could kill you before you knew you heard it. This is not science fiction. This is the voice of gravity, singing in the silence. The sound lasted for billions of years, echoing through gas, dust, and plasma. It has no melody, no rhythm, just the rumble of annihilation made eternal. And yet, You live in comfort, as if this universe was built for you, as if silence means safety. But space is not empty. It is a field of knives wrapped in shadows. It is pressure without form, gravity without warning, radiation without mercy. And in its silence, it waits, not to be heard, but to be obeyed. You thought silence was gentle. You thought it was peace. But you were wrong. Silence is domination without sound, power without warning, and in space, it is the only law that matters. It does not speak for the stars. It does not show you the present. It shows you what it can, what it remembers. You think you are seeing the universe as it is, but you are not. You are seeing it as it used to be. A reflection, a lie, a memory still burning through space. And some of that light, it has traveled for billions of years, from stars that lived and died before your Earth ever cooled. You do not live in a universe of now. You live in a universe of delay, of echoes. And what is an echo but the shadow of a scream? Your sky is not a window. It is not hope. It is a canvas of lies, painted in radiation. And soon, even that will fade. There are places where no light ever arrives, not because it hasn't been born, but because it is forever trapped. Let me show you what darkness truly means. You fear fire. You fear the heat of stars, the burning wrath of solar flares, the fury of supernovae. But you have never known true fear until you've seen cold. There are places in this universe where heat does not exist, where motion stops, where energy sleeps, where even atoms forget to move. These are not the icy plains of Earth or the polar caps of Mars. They are voids between galaxies, places so far from light, from stars, from gravity, that reality itself begins to freeze. The coldest place ever found is the Boomerang Nebula, 1 degree above absolute zero, colder than the background temperature of the universe itself, colder than the void it drifts through. Here, matter cannot function. Molecules collapse. Light scatters. No biology. No fire. No future. It is not simply cold. It is negation, the absence of energy, made physical. If you were to stand there, if your body could survive, you would become still, not dead, not frozen, just stopped. Absolute zero is not a temperature, it is a boundary. Beyond it, there is nothing left to take. This is the universe without flame, without motion, without time, and one day it will be everywhere. Entropy demands it. Everything moves toward disorder. Every sun that dies, every atom that slows, every signal that fades is progress, not toward life, not toward renewal, but toward stillness. The heat death of the universe is not a war. It is not an apocalypse. It is a whisper, a final exhale, a moment when all energy is spent, when no light remains, when every star has gone dark. And when that time comes, there will be no one to remember warmth, only silence, only cold, only the end. Not every nightmare hides in shadows. Some wait in the heart of galaxies. They do not move. They pull, not with claws, but with gravity. Black holes are not holes at all. They are prisons, collapsing stars so dense they fold space around themselves. Even light cannot escape. They do not chase. They do not roar. They simply wait, and everything falls toward them. At the center of a black hole is the singularity, an infinite point, a rupture in the laws of physics, mass without volume, force without form. Around it, the event horizon, the boundary beyond which nothing returns. If you cross it, you are lost. Time distorts, space bends, and all roads lead to silence. But black holes are not alone. There are other monsters. Neutron stars, the remnants of supernovae compressed into spheres no larger than a city. They spin, they pulse, they emit deadly beams of radiation. Some spin hundreds of times per second, a mass greater than our sun, rotating faster than a blender. Touch one, and your atoms would collapse. Stand near one, and your DNA would unwrite itself. Then there are magnetars, neutron stars with magnetic fields 1 trillion times stronger than Earth's. One passing near your planet would erase your hard drives from orbit and tear the iron from your blood. These are not science fiction. These are not exaggerations. They are real. They exist. And they are waiting. We call them monsters because we do not understand them. We give them names to feel safe. But names do not protect you, and understanding will not save you. The universe has no empathy. It has no morality. It only has gravity and patience. And in the dark, the monsters are always patient. The universe had a beginning, and like all things, it must have an end. There are many theories. None of them offer peace. The first is heat death, a slow unraveling, the final consequence of entropy. No more stars, no more fusion, no more light. Just drifting particles in an infinite dark. No structure, no energy, no life. The universe does not explode. It expires. Quietly, without witness. The second is the Big Crunch. The reverse of the Big Bang. Expansion stops, gravity wins, galaxies fall together. Time reverses, matter collapses, and all is reduced to a single point. A final breath, drawn in reverse. Then there is the Big Rip, the most violent end of all. If dark energy grows stronger, it will not stop at galaxies. It will tear stars apart, then planets, then atoms, then space itself. A universe ripped at the seams. Even time, shredded into nothing. Which ending will you see? None. Because you are temporary. You are a flicker, a breath in a storm that will rage for eternity. The universe is not waiting for you. It is not aware of you. It is not cruel or kind. It simply moves toward stillness. This is the fate of all things. Not fire, not fury, but dissolution. You do not leave behind a mark. You do not echo in the void. You vanish, like heat in the dark, and still You look to the stars, hoping for meaning, but the stars are dying, and the universe is leaving you behind. You were born curious. You looked up at the stars and asked, "Are we alone?" And in all the silence, you heard possibility. You sent signals into space, built machines to listen, pointed satellites toward distant suns, but no one answered. And so you called it the Fermi paradox, the contradiction between the probability of life and its absence. You expected life to shout back, but maybe it already did. And maybe you missed it. Or maybe it was silenced. What if the silence is not empty? What if it's a warning? Civilizations may rise and fall before they ever leave their planets, consumed by their own creations, by war, by time, by the universe itself. Or worse, maybe they don't fall. Maybe they hide, because something else is watching. Something older, something that does not speak. Something that remembers the first stars and waits for the last. You think of aliens as visitors, but what if they were never meant to meet you? What if the design was isolation? A universe vast enough to separate all life. For a reason. Maybe intelligence is not the prize. Maybe it's the bait. And the silence? That's the trap. Because the truth is simple. You were never meant to know. You were meant to observe, to fear, to wonder, and then to end. If the stars could speak, they would beg you to forget them, to stop listening, to look away. Because if you ever hear the voice that waits beyond the void, it will not be speaking to you. It will be claiming you. And in that final moment, you will understand the silence and why it was always kinder than the answer.